I'm here inside the CMX Theater in downtown Orlando where legendary actor Glynn Turman has just released his latest passion project, a documentary about his life entitled What Else? The Legend of Glynn Turman. Glynn also received the Lifetime Achievement Award at this year's Orlando Urban Film Festival. I sat down with the Emmy winner to talk all about his career, longevity, and what this honor means to him. Glynn Turman is one of the most prolific actors of his generation. Role after role after role, he's not only delivered transformative performances, he's embodied the essence of his characters that have permeated cinema.
Everybody set? We're on you, Abram.
Okay. Mr. Turman, congratulations on your Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you, Abram.
So what does Lifetime Achievement mean to you?
Good question. I've gotten a few of them. I'm wondering if that means he's getting ready to kick or, or if there's still more to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully there's still more to go and that there's a lot more to achieve. But for the achievements that I have made and to be recognized for them, I'm grateful. And it kind of makes me know that I'm on the right track.
Okay.
But my mama used to say, you know, you can be on the right track and still get run over.
Oh.
So you've got to stay alert and stay aware, and that's what I intend to do.
All right. So what does it mean when it comes particularly from the Orlando Urban Film Festival to receive this honor?
Well, you know, I see that the energy with this organization, the Orlando Film Organization, has a lot of energy behind it. And it's a young organization. It's doing its thing. For them to include me at this stage of the game means quite a bit, you know. So that's kind of like, you know, depending on me to help them achieve the accomplishments that they hope to achieve. And I'm glad to be a part of that journey.
So let's go back for a minute. You know, we spoke before. You said that, you know, as you were growing up, you liked that attention of people watching you.
I was a show off as a kid.
Of course.
Yeah.
So.
What you mean, of course?
Well, of course you said, because you told me before, which was going by what you said.
Okay, all right.
You remember we had that? Yeah, exactly.
Go ahead.
So what traits do you think allowed you to become a storyteller? Why do you think you particularly are meant to be a storyteller?
Because I think being a storyteller is in my blood. I don't think that the things that we do are haphazard. I think there's a lot of generational and DNA associated with who we end up being. You got to remember, we were brought to this country. And those of us who were brought, we have no idea who we were or our forefathers were in the history prior to our journey in the United States, what has become the United States of America. You've got to remember, Africa was not a land of booga, booga, booga. It was a land of kings and queens and locksmiths and those who smelted iron and lawyers and horsemen, you know, and griots, you know. So, I believe that I was a griot in another land, in another country. And griots, for those of you who don't know, were those who were charged with telling the stories to keep the history of the tribe intact, to pass on some of the myths and some of the attributes and some of the joy of what that community was about. Those were natural storytellers, and I believe that that's probably in my DNA.
Let's go back to when you told me before that when you finished high school, you graduated with honors, and that was that moment where you knew that you wanted to go into acting. Tell me what was that experience when you got your first big role and you realized, okay, I can make a living out of this?
Well, it was. I don't want to tell all the stories that are in my documentary, the Legend of Glynn Turman.
Yes, exactly.
See The Legend of Glynn Turman coming to a streaming near you. In this case, Peacock, actually, or Tubi for free. But in it, I kind of tell the story of myself going for an audition when I had been fired from going to auditions from many jobs in New York City as a youngster, as a teenager pursuing the art of acting. but I would have to cut out sometimes during the course of the day. You know, working at Macy's, lunchtime, I was off trying an audition. When I got back to Macy's, they were saying, "You're fired," you know, that kind of thing. But at one point, I was driving a truck. I was a truck driver for a furniture moving company. And I heard at that time, by reading the newspaper called Backstage, that there was an audition being held, and it was right at that time that I was reading the newspaper, and I turned the entire truck around with guys in it, three other guys, and a truckload of furniture, some lady's furniture that was supposed to be in the Bronx, and we were down on 46th Street in Manhattan, and I turned the whole truck around with all this furniture and went to the audition. And got the audition.
Okay, so it was worth it.
It was worth it. Of course, I got fired, but thank God I got the part. And that seemed to have been the catapult for a continuous career in the area that I had chosen to make a living in. Taking that risk, you know, paid off.
Was there ever a moment in your career where you realized, like, what I'm doing is bigger than me? It's not just reciting words from a script in front of a camera. It's bigger than that.
There are different moments in my career that have reconfirmed that notion. The latest being a show I did called The Women of the Movement, where I played Mose, who was Emmett Till's uncle. A heart-wrenching story, a very ugly story in the history of American history.
Yes, sir.
But a great responsibility came with that particular role. A storytelling that is beyond just me. You know, it was one of those griot moments, because that moment should never be, you know, overlooked or downplayed, and it should always be given respect, because it's an atrocious moment in American history.
Let's talk about longevity for a minute. You know, you're considered what they call a multi-hyphenate. You act, you write, produce, direct. Would you say that's the key to the Glynn Turman success rate for longevity, as being multifaceted and being able to do in front of and behind the camera?
Yeah, I try to spread it around and make it look like a big act, you know? I've been doing it a long time, and I've had the opportunity to be in front of the camera and behind the camera, as well as write. So, yeah, I'm sure it contributes to the, one of my other sayings, I guess I got a lot of sayings, but one of my other sayings is it's hard to hit a moving target, you know? So I just keep moving.
Yeah. You mentioned that there was a lot of work coming out of Africa. So what stories do you think Hollywood isn't telling, and that you would like to lend your talents to help tell those stories?
In relationship to the stories coming out of Africa?
Or just in general, like whatever you're seeing that it's not.
Well, you know, I'm a history buff. You know, the only thing I did well in school was acting and my history class. Those things were the only thing that really caught my attention. And the history, both internationally, of where we fit in that history, as well as nationally, where we fit in that history, those stories are innumerable. And the surface has only been scratched when it comes to telling the stories that we participated in this not only American history, but the history of the world. You know, that's only been scratched. You know, it's no one has really taken the time to give that the full light, shine the full light that deserves. You know, so I'm looking forward to the younger kids coming along to fill that gap.
Any plans to tell those stories yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You got any money?
I can go on my checkbook. We'll see. Last question for you.
Yeah.
So, as we said, you're getting the Lifetime Achievement Award. But what's left for you to achieve in this lifetime?
No, man. What's left for me to achieve in this lifetime? More grace.
For?
Just for, as a human being. You know, it's constant work on self, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah, you want self to be fulfilled. You want self to be of use to others. You want self to have respect for self. Yeah. And that's a never-ending journey. And that's always a work in progress, isn't it?
Yeah. Mr. Turman, thank you for your time. Congratulations again on your Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
To learn more about Glynn and his career, be sure to stream his newest documentary, The Legend of Glynn Turman, available now on Peacock and Tubi.